sector is clear.
Give us everything we got!
How is it going, everyone? Today I'm going to be doing a quick review about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the new game from EA and Respawn Studios. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order takes a lot of elements that we've already seen in video games and introduces them into the Star Wars universe, which, while it can be awesome, some things end up feeling very similar. For instance, this feels very, very similar to a scene in Uncharted 2, in which a train has fallen partially off a cliff and you have to climb the train while it's falling apart, and then it starts to come down as you're climbing it. It makes for a very good action scene, but once you've seen it, and you see it again in another game, it's not quite as impressive the second time round. Does anyone else remember those awesome tree sliding sequences from Tarzan and Kingdom Hearts? Because the developers at Respawn do, I can tell you that. And that is a good thing. They're pretty fun to do, but once you've done them, 6, 7, 8 times, because an elevator won't work for some weird reason, you have to go back down the way you did the first time all over again for the 7th or 8th time, it starts to annoy you a little bit. Along the way, you meet your adorable little robot companion, BD1, who has the ability to heal you with stems. Kind of the Estus Flask of Fallen Order.
You're full of surprises.
Your little robot buddy also gives you the ability to zipline. Yeah, he also gives you access to the holo map, which, for all intents and purposes, is basically the Metroid Prime map, which is, while awesome and incredibly easy to use, can be complicated if you're trying to 100% it, finding that last secret chest or echo. It can be challenging at times, because secret areas don't pop up on the map until you find them. Imagine that. You get to explore a variety of locations in Fallen Order, which expand upon the universe that's returning fans may know, and just enlightens those who aren't familiar with it. Seeing planets like Dathomir and KASHYYYK is kind of awesome, and Ilum as well. However, you may want to note that while in the holo map, you can be attacked by people. Like bounty hunters, for instance.
Get him!
Dodge!
He's quick!
The various collectibles in Fallen Order go as such. You have your standard Force Echoes, which are little memories that Cal can interact with. Then you have your Secret Echoes, which are Force and Life Essences. If you collect 3 of each, it will increase your Force or Life bars, respectively. You've also got your Terrarium Seeds, which are hidden on the various worlds.
Hope these don't freak Grease out.
It should be noted, however, that after you get the seeds, it does take time in-game for them to grow. I discovered the best way to do it was I went to KASHYYYK, and I went from where you landed to the first checkpoint, and I just stood around for like 45 minutes, came back, checked, did it again, and they were grown after the second time. Then you've got your chests hidden out throughout the map, as well as scans, which are little data logs that you can view to expand the lore. Now the chests all contain cosmetic items, which is kind of takes away a bit of the awe.
Have I mentioned to you how awesome this is? Because you're pretty great.
While I love the customizability in the game, I feel that certain aspects of it aren't quite as good as others. The poncho, for instance, I don't really like many of them. Same with the outfit, you only have 5. BD1 skins are okay, there are a few good ones, there are a few eh. Then the Mantis skins, same way. And this is sort of the problem with the chests, is that you don't feel like you're getting something all the time. So collecting all of them can kind of take away from it. Now if you jump into the lightsaber customizability, you'll see that there's a plethora of options you can choose from. And they all vary in their own way. They have their own signature style, if you will. I mean, you've got your emitters, your switches, your sleeves. And once you unlock the double-bladed lightsaber, it allows for even more customizability because you can customize both ends. Now, the materials is actually something that I really enjoyed about the customizability, was the amount and variation they had, allowing for an abundance of lightsaber variations. The combat can be fun. You find you're able to slice certain enemies in half. Not stormtroopers, which I know was a complaint for some, but stormtroopers still go down in one hit, which I think is really all that matters. Once you unlock the dual-bladed lightsaber, you'll find that it adds in a variety of options in terms of combat and dealing with enemies. The dual-bladed lightsaber is also fantastic for crowd control, which again opens up a variety of new options in dealing with new enemies. As you progress through the game, you'll get new abilities like Force Pull, which open up new pathways on the various worlds. The problem is at some point, combat with lower tier enemies sort of evolves into just something like this. These are the moments where the combat really shines, when you really get to feel like a badass, like a brand new Force Unleashed. You'll also get new abilities like Force Slow, which again open up new pathways and allow you to explore new areas. And in the style of Force Unleashed, you'll also get Force Push, which allows you to complete even more puzzles and access new areas. With all these new force powers, it does allow you to try new things in combat. However, it does seem to devolve to the same basic strategy at some point, which is, if you can, lead an enemy into a chasm or a pit, never gonna catch him. And then, you gotta hit him with that Admiral Akbar. It's a trap! That being said, when you get to bosses is when the parrying technique really comes into play and you have to use it. It becomes absolutely critical to your success. I played on Jedi Knight difficulty and found myself only having issues when I got to bosses, dying quite a few times in the process. However, as you keep playing and learn the timing of each particular boss, you'll find yourself being able to parry with much more accuracy. There's also the really cool little stuff, like them having quippy little responses towards you. Foos Rada! Now what did you learn? The transitionary scenes between planets is nice, and even though I didn't show them, have cutscenes that expand upon the relationships between the various characters on the ship. The planets all have their own diverse and unique presentation, each one varying in their own way. For instance, Ilum being an icy, desolate. Kashyyyk, on the other hand, is filled with interesting wildlife and equally interesting fauna. It's just teeming with life, and the design is absolutely stunning. It's nice to be able to explore Kashyyyk like this. On the other hand, you have Pagano, ancient and mostly untouched by the Empire, the only thing left being ruins and fossils. It's nice to finally be able to explore Dathomir, which is the home of Darth Maul.
If the Knight Brothers got him.
The aesthetics of the planet, however, actually really remind me of 2016's Doom. It's also incredible to be able to expand upon certain aspects of Dathomir that don't get as much attention as others, like Darth Maul does. For instance, the Night Sisters, who wield an ancient dark magic and are able to perform necromancy. For those returning to the Star Wars mythos, there are various cameos that help build upon a universe that was recently slashed down by Disney.
To the Empire. Dark times.
You also get some special cameos, like this little data entry here about Darth Vader. But now that we've covered all the good, it's time to cover the bad. So let's get into glitches and technical issues. They're your standard texture glitches, followed by the pop-in features.
Seer, I saw what happened.
We all did, Cal. We all did.
Quiet. Too quiet.
Now, I did have a few technical issues with flipping, like this particular Guardian here. Decided gravity isn't real, and he can do what he wants. So in summation, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order takes the combat from Dark Souls genre games, mixes it with the free running of something like Titanfall, and adds in a heaping helping of Uncharted. And the map style's got, just a dash of Metroid Prime in there. And it adds deep, some deep expansive lore back into the Star Wars universe after being retconned a few years ago. And let's not forget that scene from KASHYYYK that basically mirrors that scene from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban where Harry rides a hippogriff. And this one is a bird, though. I mean, it's not a problem, but it felt a bit copy-pasted overall. But it was really awesome to watch. Another nice thing is you're never really made to feel overly powerful like in The Force Unleashed, but instead you feel like a Jedi who's actually learning his way into becoming a proper Jedi Knight. Learning the Force. And that helps your character become more believable and likable. It really makes him have ties that make you want to learn more about him. The world is just so expansive, and there's a lot to see and discover. It's also really quite beautiful in various scenes. Now, 100%ing it can be a bit of a chore, but it never feels unachievable. It's one of those games that you end up enjoying regardless of whether or not you've beaten the main campaign. I enjoyed my time even after I had 100%ing it. Although the terrarium can be a bit annoying, so I recommend grabbing a collectible guide if you're planning on completing it, / platinuming it like I did. It will really help you out in the end. Now, I did have a few technical glitches here and there, but to my understanding they've patched them out since I 100%ed the game. So they won't be a problem for most people. But now we've made it to the small complaints, which is more of a few critiques really. There's a few technical issues that I think have been patched out since the game came out, which really helps it overall. But there's also a few other things. For instance, I felt the ending was kind of left open. It's clearly setting up for future entries in the series, but they don't really set out a path for where your character is going to go next, or what's going to happen next, or what the future holds, which works out in their favor for developing the next game, but it leaves the players kind of hanging on the edge of their seat. That being said, however, the ending sequence is honestly breathtakingly just awesome. It's one of those things that I still run over in my head with just how well done it was. The game is also just one of those things that I highly recommend to any returning fans of Star Wars or any new fans of Star Wars. I enjoyed my time with it, and I cannot recommend it enough. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.